Good. Thank you very much. Very nice. So, let's see. I have one question mainly about the breathings.
Yes.
Do you know exactly where you suppose or want to breathe?
Yes, I know.
Or it's every time a little bit approximate, one time like this, one time like that?
No, I know where I want to breathe.
Okay, so all the breathings you took now, that was the plan.
Yes.
Okay, that's very important because with this fantastic concerto, we are so lucky to have this incredible Strauss concerto, which is so full of light, even though he was already very old when he wrote it in the end of Second World War. I think it's so essential to know exactly where you breathe because it's a very important part of the structure. And as we know, there is no music without rhythm. So all the breathings should be absolutely, the goal would be to have all the breathings absolutely inside of the musical line, because with Strauss here, as an example, we have a typical Strauss and unstoppable horizontal, extremely long melodic lines. Many of them, like especially first and second movement, with of course some scherzando more in Mozart style, let's say the middle part around 9, etc., very, very articulated and so on. But we have here, of course, this beginning, this couple of first pages, which are always a challenge for anybody who play the concerto. I think it's essential. Let's try now one more time. So with the breathings, I would like to ask you the following. May I ask you to try to breathe every time in tempo, because that was not every time the case. Mm-hmm. With an absolutely open mouth.
Okay.
Not half closed mouth, not with nose, but with an open mouth, be like a fish. Let's exaggerate.
Okay.
And the idea of that is, of course, to think and to imagine that you are to have a feeling of yawning while taking a breathing. Because when we are yawning, we open a very important resonator here. It's very similar to the singers. Another thing why I think this breathing with an open mouth is so important, because you will need considerably less time to take much more air. If you breathe with nose, it's completely unreliable, because if the nose is a little bit blocked, it takes you an incredible amount of time before you breathe, and the music starts with the breathing. So your breathing, it's like the Auftakt of the conductor. Your breathing is already, it's the tempo and the character. If you breathe, there is no connection with the music. If you breathe, there is no connection. But if you breathe just on a simple quarter, not half bar, but simple quarter, some people like to breathe with half bar. This is a matter of taste. For me, 1/4 is more than enough. In this tempo, with the condition that we breathe really with open mouth. Open mouth, it also means, if it's something new for you, maybe, the people often start to be a little bit nervous, and it seems that 1/4 is a very little time to breathe. But actually, it's the opposite. It's a lot of time. And also in this tempo, it's a lot of time, with the condition that your reed is already on your under lip. So you should not search last moment in stress where to put the reed after taking a breathing on 1/4. But if you just prepare and then you think, taga, 3, this is very important. It also will reflect, the open mouth effect will also reflect immediately on the volume of your sound. We are not talking about the dynamic. Dynamic is piano, piano solo, of course, but it's about the volume of the sound. If you breathe so small like you did now, you do the sound will stay inside of this frame which you create. If you breathe using much more space which you have, not closing any door artificially, but the opposite, to expand and to think larger for the breathing, and this idea of feeling of yawning will be a very big help. Then you have enough time and to breathe with quality, and the volume of the sound will be completely different. You will try it now one more time, and please listen yourself and try to analyze, because we have now a very limited amount of time, of course, and it's good that thanks for all the technologies now we can do this kind of class like this online. But the goal is, my goal will be to give you maximum of information in the very short amount of time, and for you that it would still, you would go home and you would know where is your left and where is your right, and you would know where to start to practice and how to practice this with quality. So that's why I think the very first thing to try right now to achieve is the first breathing, because when you will have a first breathing right, it means that any other breathing later you will have to try while practicing at home to do in the similar way. The first breathing is the easiest. We are fresh, we are not tired, we are not out of the air, it's easy. But further we play, longer we play, and especially with Strauss, which is a very physically demanding piece for anybody, for any oboe player, that would be the goal, to breathe every time and to search every single time for this kind of quality breathing with open mouth and thinking larger. Think that you are flying. Not small, no. And that's why I say, for now, let's try to exaggerate, let's do it as a small exercise. So the reed is on the underlip, thinking of yawning, breathing in tempo, which is, the piano starts very, very clear, and 1/4 for the breathing. Let's try, please.
Okay.
Good. You have already bigger sound here, what I hear with this equipment I have. So now, of course, the intonation is a little bit high, so it's also, I don't know, maybe the reed is a little bit closed, let's see. But because I'm talking too much now, so maybe it's getting drier and getting a little bit more close, but still you should try to control it. So the idea is, of course, now to try to search for more low harmonics in the sound. The reed can give you a light, beautiful sound, which you have, because now when you play through, the beginning was a little bit too shy on my taste, but further you played more developed, and this reed allows you to play fuller. So that's very good. So there is no, it should be no obstacle to play with a live piano in the beginning. We should not change the dynamic. It's piano solo, but it's a piano which is alive, because if we play in the hall, you think in Riga, the Gildia, where I had the chance to play quite a few times, I like very much. You have to think in any big concert hall, you imagine front balcony, last row. This is where people should hear how you play piano. So now another thing, let's try, because the intonation was a little bit too high, and I hear a little bit too many high harmonics in the sound. This breathing with open mouth, feeling of yawning, plus thinking to cover the sound a little bit more, idea of more impression of playing sitting down while, of course, standing up. So a little bit more gravity. For me, very important. It belongs to the passwords, very important, the gravity. So because we are all, of course, more we play, everybody is going higher. Everybody. I also go higher. But the point is what the person is the person is thinking about it, is the person is aware about it, and what he or she is doing about it. It's very complex. It's many, many things all together. Let's try one more time, please. Thinking of all this. The first breathing was better. Please exaggerate the breathing for now.
Okay.
Stop. Good. Thank you. Good. Do you feel a little bit difference?
I do, yes.
That's very important because I can talk for hours. This is not the point. The point is that you feel the difference.
I feel.
And it's very important that ideally you would tell me, yes, I feel, and I feel that for me it's easier to play.
It's not yet, but it will be. It's too much thinking for now.
That's good. So, okay, now, so I would suggest that you really pay attention while practicing at home, and it's not about Strauss. We are using now Strauss because this is what you prepared for this time, but it's for any piece. The breathing always tempo and character. When you start Mozart concerto, you play 1, 2, 3. You cannot breathe. It's impossible. And etc. I mean, if you think about Schumann, first romance, you cannot breathe with a lot of stress and then produce a very melodic singing melody. No, so this is very important. And please focus on the first breathing because this is the key, and then to let your body remember the comfortable, let's call it right feeling. Only you can feel. And you will feel it when you will try to develop the kind of way of listening when one ear is here where you play and another ear is like you would listen to yourself being in the concert hall. How it sounds. This is the idea which is, I think it's very important to develop. It will not come like this immediately because you have to also to think a little bit about it, but I think it might be something really, really interesting. And the goal, as I say, so would be to have this really with the highest possible quality first breathing, and every next breathing should be as close as possible to the first breathing when you are not tired and when you don't have any obstacles. You are not tired. You don't push the reed yet. You don't bite, etc., etc. No. So this is very important. Now, for the music that we use a little bit the time to talk and to cover most important things, at least for these couple of pages. So there are a few very important elements here for me. First of all, we have a very long horizontal line, as we said. Inside of this line, Strauss put a kind of very refined, calm drawing, which is in the form of the 16 notes. So it's very important at first place to have and to try to achieve this unstoppable horizontal line from beginning till the end. So if I ask you, for example, I also think for the structure, which is very, very important, what do you think if we take your first 8 bars, so until figure 1, I have the music here on my phone, so I can follow, until figure 1, from the 3rd bar, if you would have to conduct, which bars you think you would conduct in 4 and which bars you would conduct in 2?
Mostly in 2, I think, except maybe for the those could be in 4.
Absolutely, you are completely right. And why? Because it's a syncopus. And the syncopus, it's an instability which is leading somewhere. So we cannot have a large gesture here. But I think it's very clear. The bars with the 16 notes are in 4 because we need a lot of clarity, and this is the element which is repeating through all movement. The slurted half notes, like in the first bar, or the quarter notes slurted with the next first 16 notes. This should be rhythmically absolutely exact. The rhythm, as we said, there is no music without the rhythm. The rhythm is the most important. So now let's try. I will try to play one time. Just to show you also the first horizontal line without 16 notes, and just the beginning until number 1. And then we will fill it in like a good cake with a lot of ingredients with the 16 notes. My reed is also dry now. This is the first most important element here, which should be very clear. So now if I ask you, for example, to which note are you phrasing as a small phrase? Because as we discussed, there is a very long horizontal lines, and inside of these very long lines we have many small lines, small directions, which make the music alive. Otherwise it will be like a beautiful house with the empty walls. No, it will be nothing inside. So we need, if we have only small details, it means maybe we are missing one wall in the house, but we have a very refined drawing with a pencil on one wall, which nobody can see. We need all these elements together. So if I ask you, to which note are you phrasing in the bar 2? To the first or to the second?
First.
Bam, that was the right answer. Because it is a slow syncopa. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. You should create a kind of natural shape of the musically here. So let's try one more time. I try one more time. So now in these 8 bars, and this is important to think. For me, the structure is first mini phrase is 2 bars, and the next phrase is 6 bars. It's not 2, 2, 4, it's 2 and 6, because the line is continuing. We are coming back in the between first and second bar. The first note of first and second bar is the same note. We are coming back home. Then third bar is going to the fourth bar of oboe, so which is a bar 6 altogether. So it's already higher to the F sharp. Yeah, the line is still continuing, it's going up, syncopas, unstable, leading, here we come, and then we relax, we close the phrase with the triole without stress. No. 1, 2, 3, 1, singing. It's very comforting, calm melody. And then, so once we achieve and we can make it very clear all this very long line without 16 notes, then we put the 16 notes inside to fill in this space like a written ornamentation. Not from the head, like very often in the Baroque music, but it's already written. So I like very much the idea of drawing number 8. I give you many secrets. So what is important is to have all these elements together. Let's try. Now I don't talk anymore. Now you play. Yes, very good, very good, very good, very good. I need a little bit more expression from you. Take time to sing everything you can here. This music is full of love. If we do some notes a little bit en passant, a little bit without enough attention, we are already missing the point a little bit. So it's for Strauss. He deserves. He offered us this beautiful concerto. We have to profit. Every note is gold. Let's try one more time. And now, last comment. What I hear, and also what I heard the first time when you played through, the tendency is that the longer values, so the half notes and sometimes the quarter notes, sounds a little bit empty, which means that the music is stopped. So they sound relatively dead musically. So that's very important to give the continuation, not to stop, not to cut, not to stop any air. You open the crown and the water is running, and it's running long until the end of the concerto. It's running with a flexibility, it's not static, it's not, you don't blow, you don't send the air in the same way, of course, because it's very, very refined, like a river with going from the mountain down, no? With many different little paths, but it's unstoppable. So if you play like you put a movie on pause, on hold, and then you make a cup of tea, and then you come back, and then you put the movie back. No, this we have to avoid. The music should continue all the time. Let's try one last time, please. Thank you. I like this much more. The volume, what I hear at my place here now, the volume of the sound is much better like this. So I wish you feel this difference and that you search for it at home. Now let's try maybe one time this change of the color. 1, 2, let me check. It is before 2, 1, 2, 3, 4 bars before 2, right? And then search a little bit more to hear this low E, which is included in the 16 notes. It sounds very much like you are playing everything in the same position. So now very dry. continue. If you don't breathe, I think that if you don't breathe before the F,
yes,
so at 2, I think it's better to go through also dynamically. If you want to do a little bit, to go a little bit softer, then it's better you prepare a little breathing. Otherwise, with a diminuendo and continuing without breathing, to me it seems a little bit artificial. Even if it's a small breathing, which maybe you don't need. Or if you like to play through, and then you continue, and then it's more complete and a longer period of music altogether.
okay.
This is a matter of taste. You can choose. Both can work very beautifully. Let's take from number 1, please, with a bit. Can we try? Listen to the intonation on the E. It's very high and it's too optimistic. Mi, do, re, di, o, a little bit round embouchure, and the palate inside of the mouth also to think a little bit rounder.
Okay.
Let's try. Very good. It's much better. Much better. I have an impression it's much better. Very good. So this breathing is very important. This is a big breathing. Do, si, si, la. To place, if you feel you are a little bit already the tendency is going a little bit too much up, and your elbows are going a little bit higher. If your elbows are going higher, your shoulders are automatically going higher. If your shoulders are going higher, your breathing is too high. If your breathing is too high, don't expect the same sound quality like we want from the beginning. So that's why I say everything is related. It's like a chain of very important elements which we have to always to think about all together. That's very good. So from this place, this is a very clear example. Re, la, do, si, la, fa, mi, sol, do, re, mi. It's re, do, re, mi. This is the tema, and the 16 notes are included inside like a written ornamentation. So let's try that directly from this place, and like a very, very thin, like in the circus, some clown would pull something like this from your oboe, very invisible tiny string which is going completely until Concertgebouw. I'm close here to the Concertgebouw. So this is the idea. It should be unstoppable, even if it's very thin. Spaghetti, good Italian spaghetti, top quality, long and thin. This is your air. Let's try. Directly. I don't want to go on the territory which is not mine, but since we are here now, I think I have to share with you, I think this breathing is not very logical.
But I like it.
Sorry?
But I like it.
You like it? No, okay. But sometimes we like things which are not completely right. So we have to be we have to be careful. But the point is why I say it's not very logic, because you don't have much time and you are inside of the musical line. On top of that, it's the first time you have a dot on the note since the beginning of the concerto. It should speak. If in between you are doing some extra thing like a breathing, the chance that it will not speak properly is higher. So, all together the line, the mini phrase here is going to the next F sharp. So I think after this F sharp is completely fine to take a breathing, to softly end the next F sharp, the slurred quarter, and then to continue. So and then look, we are 4 before 3. What is the dynamic?
Mezzo forte.
Mezzo forte. Now look at 3. What is the dynamic?
Forte.
So we need an absolutely clear difference here. 4 before 3, that's clarinet solo in the orchestra, which is piano is playing in the right hand, etc. So it's other instruments, but at 3, it's really your solo. So you have to reach this mini phrase until 4 before 3 and relieve a little bit the air. More relaxed. Because now if you play everything with a similar kind of intensity, you don't have any rest. The people who are listening to you, the public, don't have any rest, and the music don't have any rest. So we need. That's why what I mean is we need the moments of action musically and the relaxation. I think this place definitely allows us to do that in the controlled way. Let's try maybe one last time from the same place. From the breathing, la, so, fa. It's bar 27, yeah?
Maybe I don't have bar numbers. Yeah.
Good. So here now we have to understand a little bit better. If you ask me, for me there is no question where this breathing is better. It's better after the F sharp like we did it now.
Okay.
But it's a matter of taste, so I just tell you what I would do, then you have to decide what works best for you. Keeping in mind that of course structurally we have to open a little bit and play the bar 32 first note F sharp, 34 first note is A, and 33 first note is F sharp, 34 A, and 35 high D. So we need this progression. Fa la re. We need da la la ga da ga da ga da ga, next level la la ga da ga da ga da ga da ga da, and then after you reach this high re 4 before 3, relieve the air and play a little bit more relaxed. All the separate notes are not speaking clear enough on my taste. A little bit more pronunciation will be necessary, and then of course you give the crescendo to arrive properly. At 3, this way up is helping you to give this crescendo to number 3, and then it's a full of expression, full intensity. Progression. So we need 3 steps. Re, do, si, la, sol, si, la, tatara, 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 pa, 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 pi. I think it's not reasonable to stop the music. Tolira papara 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 ra tarara papa 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 pi. Connect. It's taking a clear musical turn, but then we continue. The line is continuing. Taroriram, toriram, palira, papara, 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 papapapapapapapapim, building like a column. Papapapapapapapapim, very complete. And then on the B flats, for me, it's unclear what you want. Don't tell me, just play one more time. It should be clear. Or you do diminuendo, bim, 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 and then you continue pianissimo, different color, or you continue straight, bim, 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 subito pianissimo. This is at least two completely different versions. Now you played, it was exactly in between, 50%. 50% unfortunately doesn't work in music. We have to make choices, and we have to be convincing. Otherwise, the artist cannot please to everybody. There is not one way which is right, but you have to believe in what you do. Let's do 4 before 3, please.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. This is nice. Be careful. The left arm is going. The left elbow is going quite quickly up.
Okay.
The general position a little bit more relaxed and a little bit rounder altogether. Maybe will help to think about. It's clear. If we don't think about it, will not come by itself. And especially not in the moment of stress when we have to play competition, audition, exam, whatever. No? So this is about daily practicing at home with control also for the position. Now let's just finish this. Good, not bad. I still think the articulation on the way up to the high B flat should be much more. And it should be, it seems to me, only 3 notes are still slurted in that bar. All the rest of the bar, the last 3 quarters of the bar, it's a separate articulation notes, détaché, no slurted, and a little bit more speaking, because otherwise we are missing the character if it's too much tenuto. It's out of the context, I think. It's more heroic. Good. Now it was clear that you want a subito pianissimo on the B flat, on the last B flat, right? So
yes.
Now it's very clear. Then I can tell you I like it, I don't like it. But this is the second method. Most important that your musical message and your musical story should be clear to the people who are listening. It's definitely a possibility. Definitely a possibility. If you want to keep it, then it's important that you keep the intensity and the quality of the sound until the end, and then the breathing was very small. And then the next breathing, which is very important, when we are finally back to the tonica, to the D major in the bar 49, was very small after the F sharp. Mi, re, fa, and then immediately the sound is also smaller. Pi, re, ra, pa, ra, ra, pa, pa, pi. Always a little bit more open and with more clear yawning feeling will be necessary. And then just to cover the end before we will have to stop. At number 4, you have a crescendo.
Yes.
And according to some reliable sources coming from famous French oboe players, at number 4, it's not a subito pianissimo, but it's a forte piano. which is very logic. It's because musically we are building up here, tarari, la ra ra pa pa pa, and then we continue, and then the line is going up. Tarari, pa, po. The high C sharp, the do diez, not too high also in the color, but to settle. If you will need, you can even breathe very, very quickly before. Much more O feeling.
Yes.
And the last notes, on my taste, deserve much more resonance, like in the church, the bells. Pim pam 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 pim pam. A little bit more grande feeling. Let's do this last time, please. Maybe directly the beat to the bar 45, pianissimo.
I don't have bar numbers. Pianissimo.
Si la do la ra ra pa pa pi ra ra. From there.
Yes.
This is better. Let's do just this one last time, please. Just the end from number 4 direct. More clear filling in the space. Filling in the space here, it's very important, because if we have A here and Z here, and you fill in only until P somewhere, then we will still have a lot of space empty altogether. Number 4, please, till the end. Push, do, o, sit down. Sit down is in the idea, la, do, you push, you do gymnastic. And I want basketball from above. Ooh. Last time. So what happened now on the C sharp? It was too low. Good. It means that you open, but you didn't give the right intensity of the air. But it's good, because this is a clear proof. If you open but it's not filled in properly, then the intonation is low. Now let's try. It's all about the connection and the combination between here feeling larger and here being extremely focused. All the air is going into the reed.
Okay.
Same place last time, please. Yes, this is definitely better. I don't know if we have a little bit more time or not.
I think now.
Okay.
We don't.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Try to practice at home with this feeling of breathing like this. It's most important.
Yes, thanks you very much.
It's a pleasure.